This is a review of the GOgroove BlueGATE. I'm not sure actually what to call this device. It is an interface in between a Bluetooth connectors that you can use in your car to connect your output of your tablet or your phone to through the car's auxiliary input to get full sound and make this a wireless use of your phone, for example. Answer calls, play music, and so on. It's dark at the moment because this is a device that does not have a built-in battery. It does require a power source. So there are some other components that I didn't really get around to testing. This, I believe, is a sticky piece that you can use for permanent mounting if this is never going to leave the car. If you want something a little bit more temporary, what you've got here is sort of a sandwich, is two components of a Velcro attachment. So you would attach one part of the Velcro, it looks like one, but it pulls apart in the center. You attach one Velcro component to, say, your dashboard, the other Velcro component to your GOgroove, and then you can pull this out and take it with you wherever you go. In addition to that, we have the cigarette lighter or auxiliary port power supply, whatever you choose to call it. It claims a 2.1 amp output. Testing this on an ammeter with my Kindle Fire HDX 8.9 tablet, I got close to about 1.7. That's a little bit under what I've seen in some other places. I should be able to get about a little above 1.8 under normal circumstances, but frankly that's close enough for a car, and actually more power than this needs. You could use this as a power supply for a tablet or phone without any trouble. Now the connector, power supply connector for this is a micro USB, so what the manufacturer has done is given a micro USB to standard USB connector. So let's plug all this in, put it all together, and then show you the results. Interesting thing to note here is that this is not two separate cables coming directly from the GOgroove. The GOgroove has a single cable, and then it goes to a Y connector for the power and the so this is the one going to the power, this is the one going to the auxiliary input. It's got the stereo plug at the other end of it. The ramifications for that are that your stereo plug and your power supply can't be that far apart, or you will find that the Y doesn't split far enough, doesn't reach far enough. In my case, it does provide just enough stretch for me to either use the auxiliary, the power port directly under my radio, or the power port in the center console, and I will try it in both locations. Okay, I've got the GOgroove plugged into the power supply. You can see it has a nice little blue light on it. It tells you that it's operating. I've got it connected to the auxiliary cable, and it's connected on the other side to my Kindle Fire HDX 8.9, playing a John Williams march. Now what I'm not sure you can hear through the music right off sound, let me pause the sound. You can hear through the radio there is a whine. And what that means is that the power supply and the GOgroove are not sufficiently isolated from one another. It just turned off, as you could hear. But when I turn the sound back on again, the whine comes back. Basically, the manufacturer did not provide enough shielding. So this is the power port that's directly under the radio, is closest to the engine. Let's see if I can go a little bit further away and see if that makes a difference. I will use the power port in the console. Okay, I'm using the power port in the console. When I first plugged it in, the whine was still there. Let me turn the sound back on again. And I don't know if you can hear it underneath the sound, but the whine is back. And there it is, you hear the whine. So the shielding, even when it's a little bit further away, the auxiliary port and the power pack are a little bit farther apart, the whine is still there. So to finish up, you've got your two different ways that you can connect the GOgroove to the car, one a permanent mounting, one a temporary mounting. You've got the USB to micro USB connector, and something that I missed until I put this out here is that this power adapter actually has both a micro USB connect port and a USB port. So you can actually connect the GOgroove to this and connect the another tablet or phone to the USB port and power two devices at once. It also comes with a manual, and it comes with a quick start guide. Now the GOgroove itself has an overloaded control set. If you press This part of the button, you get either the previous track, or if you press and hold, you will get the volume decreasing. If you press this side, obviously it's the reverse. You go to the next track, or you press and hold and you get the volume increasing. Your center button allows you to pause music if that's what you're doing, and then press it again and the music starts playing. Or if incoming call comes in, pressing that button will take the call. Then when you're done with the call, pressing it will hang up the phone. Unfortunately, the hissing noise that we heard happens regardless of which of these ports you use. So there is a shielding problem with this one, at least in my car. Now, it's possible that your car won't have that problem. I believe there is also a workaround for that, and in the written part of this particular review, I'll add information on, I believe, an inexpensive component you can buy that provides the shielding the manufacturer did not. Aside from that, I really like this, and I love the fact that this power supply actually has two different types of power, one for the device itself and then one for another thing that you plug in, a tablet or a phone. I like the adapter. I think that's actually a cool little feature and something I'm going to use, and I like that it has multiple ways to connect, or you can just leave it running loose in your console. But that hiss is something of a deal breaker. On the off chance that it was the power supply that was the issue, I went back to the car and I tested this with two other power sources. One was a plug-in to a cigarette lighter with two USB output power outputs. Same hiss. The other one was a USB port that my car provides. Same hiss. So the shielding problem is not in the power supply. There are workarounds for this, and this is not the first device I've tested that has that problem. But if you have seen any kind of experience like this in your car, you might want to look elsewhere. On the off chance that it was the power supply that was the issue, I went back to the car and I tested this with two other power sources. One was a plug-in to a cigarette lighter with two USB output power outputs. Same hiss. The other one was a USB port that my car provides. Same hiss. So the shielding problem is not in the power supply. There are workarounds for this, and this is not the first device I've tested that has that problem. But if you have seen any kind of experience like this in your car, you might want to look elsewhere.